So first up with the Gala. Now it was this week's biggest night in fashion, and the theme was super fine tailoring for Black style. So focusing on the pivotal role that Black culture has played in shaping fashion, Black dandyism was finally receiving the global spotlight that is long deserved. As we have such a history of fashion in our culture, and it has moved mountains and made a lot of people rich that aren't us, unfortunately. But the event raised the most money in history, with $31 million being raised. And I think it is important in a time, especially here. We look at things like the African American History Museum and what's going on with the administration trying to take pieces from that. And this money is going to protect certain pieces of certain things of art, of our culture to stay. So it's amazing, like how when we show up, we always show out, and the most money raised in history there. Um, LeBron James was an honorary chair at this event. You had Coleman Domingo was a co-chair, Lewis Hamilton, Pharrell Williams was a co-chair for it. Before element, I do want to get into that kind of piggybacks, unfortunately, off of the video we just saw. But first, in a celebration moment, were there what? How did everybody feel about the Gala or the looks that you got to see? How do you think it was done? Were you satisfied?
Let me just say, I'm proud of the athletes. The athletes were the best dressed on the carpet, especially for the men. The men to me were a huge disappointment overall. I think the women ate them up in terms of referencing the reason for the gala. But yeah, I just want to give shout out to the NFL players and the WNBA was looking stunning. Special shout out to Justin Jefferson. I love his look. I think it needs a little bit more pressure when it's getting. I thought he had a really great look for the men. But overall, the men, as always, need to step it up.
Step it up, and then know what your history is, because Black dandyism, um, our you could say the inception started from our emancipation, but it really took flight probably around the Harlem Renaissance time, and around that era. That would be when we, really started showcasing,
Absolutely.
our fashion, you know, literature. You had all your black poets, and just a bunch of our culture started permeating throughout society. And the deal is, we're really trendsetters, and that's what that
Oh,
Met
absolutely.
Gala, you know, represents. That
Yes,
we
sir.
are trendsetters, and the looks that most of our society and other cultures really try to emulate is really us. You know, we play a big part in that, and um, I wish we could harness the power that we truly have,
Hmm.
and really start bringing that together, and really taking over. You
Yeah.
know, because our like I said, our innovation, our strength, our resolve is really unmatched and unwavering. We have allowed some societal uh, norms to inflict harm on what we have as a culture. We've got to get away from this Western Hemisphere um,
Oh, God.
Amen to that,
frame
brother.
frame of thought.
Yes. It ain't
Um,
nothing but white supremacy. And this thought that
Thank
white
you.
supremacy thought like did take so much
yeah,
of like, yeah,
yeah,
people.
we've got to get away from that thought, and um, I hope we can wake up, and and truly understand. I'm sure a lot of young people don't even know who Zora Neale Hurston is, you know,
Right.
and how pivotal she was in the
Yeah.
Harlem Renaissance,
Yeah.
or speaking, and that's just giving some women love, some female love, because
Yeah.
we've had some instrumental women in our in our culture. I know it seemed like we were coming down on the women earlier, but we have had some phenomenal women in our culture that
Absolutely.
And
have
Uh,
our black queers were really prevalent in that time with their writings too, with James
yes,
Baldwin's.
yeah, James Baldwin, um, who is certainly an eloquent speaker, writer, um, activist. Uh, but
shoot, yeah, Langston Hughes, all them
Langston
during their
Hughes,
time.
yeah, it's so many that
So
that
many.
we can we can name. I just, I struggle with. I like the gala, but I also struggle with the fact that we're not fighting to keep the history that this country is trying to get rid of. Like
Mm.
this, well, they're not trying to get rid of; they are getting rid
Oh,
of
they
it.
are. Yes, absolutely.
And so we haven't even elevated the importance of retaining that history within our own community, because we ain't even teaching our kids about that.
No, that's a good point.
Where are our black lawyers? Where are they?
It's a good
They
point.
out there, but they chasing
They
that
chasing
bag on
ambulances.
they chasing that
Yes,
bag on some ambulance cases and
yes.
whatnot. They ain't
They ain't worry
they're
about
not
that stuff.
they're not doing anything for the culture in that aspect. They pat in their pocket, but you know I I'm I'm concerned with that part of it. You have a lot of, especially the younger generation, they'll talk about, well, we far removed from all that now. We done made it,
Oh, I hate hearing
uh,
that. Oh gosh.
and why we got to bring up so much of that stuff in the past? That brings me down, and that messes with my mental health and all this
Oh gosh.
kind of stuff. But um, the guys back in the day, our forefathers and the individuals that had to endure that. What about their mental health?
Okay. Absolutely. I
They
mean,
didn't.
we it is no comparison
There's
to
no
even
comparison.
no comparison to think about that. Um, but one element I do want to bring up about this that pissed me the hell off is because of I'm fine with good critiques. I have my critiques of the fashion, what I like, what I didn't like, what I wanted more of, what I thought could have been more represented. Like, and I think that's all fair game and stuff to go. But some of the loudest cries after this gala was from the South Asian community and some in support, where they were big mad uh, and disappointed at the Vogue's coverage for some of South Asia's biggest stars on the carpet. So, in particular, most of the fuss was around I think it's Shah Rukh Khan. He's known as King Khan, Bollywood star, so popular that's how he's referred to. And then this other dude, Diljit, who's a record-breaking artist and actor and stuff. And it was both of their first appearances on the carpet. Can I just tell people, just shut the fuck up? Like, I don't understand. Like, this noise was just getting on my nerves. They're going crazy. It's articles after article out there about it. And oh my God, they didn't even talk to them. They turned the cameras away. Oh, they should would be grateful that they blessed them with their presence and stuff to walk out here. Like the world. This event is not about y'all. I just get so sick. This is why and me and one of my friends, Quentin, was talking about this. Why using the term POC, people of color? No, not doing that. We cannot be looped in with everybody like this because
Not at all.
not at all, because people would not ride for us. And we see how quickly, whenever they do, like we know the time of the George Floyd, right? Where that the Black Lives Matter, that changed a lot in a short period of time. You had a lot of people rocking for you. You see how quickly that turned around? These people are not, we have to stick up for each other a lot
Exactly.
more. And this event was not for y'all. If you didn't get talked to on the carpet, who cares?
Sorry for you.
Like, did you even wear a black designer? I saw out there you were still representing your culture
They represent
and
their culture on.
black
Thank you.
dandyism. You know, it was
Thank you.
tailored for you, but the elements were still your culture. Like, I'm just no, I don't want to. I'm getting a little more hard line separatism and some stuff going on.
I was happy to see, brother, that you mentioned that because I saw a TikTok where this South Asian woman read her community for Phil and told how they operate in that white supremacy and stuff. Like just call them out to the carpet. And I was so appreciative of her saying that because you don't hear that much in that community where somebody's on our side of things. But she was reading them for Phil, and the way she explained it was really great about how basically the Gala's a thesis and how you exhibit yourself on the carpet is the essay. Like how
Hmm.
you're being judged on how well you commit to the thesis statement that you're supposed to be making.
Yeah.
And they were they look great, but baby, it was not the thesis statement. You were not there. You were not covering what was important and what was needed.
Like, what was talking to you gonna ask when they asked you questions about black dandyism? What were you gonna how were you gonna respond?
What you gonna say? I'm happy to be here.
So confused. I'm really confused. Be happy that you were, like, I don't want
You
to be
got
like
invited.
happy you were invited, like in general, but in this
Yes.
particular instance, be happy you were invited to the
Yes.
party. Because there were people who clearly should have been there, black people who were not invited to this party.